Hi everyone, this is Jay Johnson from dailytexture.com. Today I want to introduce you to our new my new wildlife masterpiece set. This one is for the birds. Move this down out of the way. It is a painted floral branch with some flowers on it with a really nice background, and it's a good place to put your birds or have your birds flying in. You can add butterflies. You could use it as a backdrop behind a subject for a portrait. You can change positioning of the layers or of the background. For instance, if you wanted to do it sideways, if I get on the right layer here and show you. Let's see, it's not rotate. Oh, I hadn't clicked the right button. There we go. So if you wanted to turn it sideways, you could do that. You could flip it around. In fact, with this one, I've done a few examples already that are shown on the store page on the website for this package, where the birds were done with the branches facing this way. With the example I'm going to do today, I'm going to turn it around. I turned it around. Well, actually, no, I'm not, because I've already done one goldfinch where I turned it around. I'm going to work with this goldfinch, but I'm going to leave it the direction it is. The previous one I done, which is shown on the store page, the bird is positioned right here behind this flower, but in front of this flower. In this one, I'm going to position the bird right here on this side. So I thought I'd do a short video to show you how I do that. This background is available in 26 colors, so if this color doesn't work for this bird, we can easily switch colors, and I'll show you how to do that. The first thing I'm going to do with my little goldfinch photo is denoise him because he's a little noisy. He or she. I really haven't even looked. Well, I'm actually on the wrong layer, so let's get on the right layer. Haven't had enough coffee yet. I like the moderate denoise because it keeps the detail right here in the face. I'm going to click the OK button, which is off the screen so you can't see it. I'm just denoising the bird layer at this moment. There, now that's smoothed it out a little bit. Now I'm going to mask away the bird's background. I'm not going to get into all the details of this. Brush value, I'll just go over kind of quickly. Takes away, if you're on this side, if you move it to this side, it brings it back. We're wanting to take away, so we're going to leave it over there. Flow is like opacity. When I'm removing backgrounds, I like the flow turned all the way up so I can get rid of the background. I have the hardness set to 0 to keep soft edges. Right now I'm just going around getting rid of most of the background. Like so. Now to get a little closer to the bird, I've been playing with this edge aware tool. You can move it all the way to the right, and you can go around the edges, and it will pick up on where those edges are. And I'm just going to go all the way around. I'm not going to need his feet to tuck him in. I'm just going to go all the way around. It will pick up the edges. It messed up his beak a little, but I'll bring that back. Now I'm going to move edge aware back to, I don't like those harsh edges, which is why I don't use it very often. I just did it for quick purposes here. Let's blow it up a little bit so we can see where we are. I took away too much of his beak, so I'm going to bring that back so I don't lose where I'm at. And now I'll go around the edges a little tighter to get rid of that harsh line, like so. And go around his head. Try to get rid of that dark background because he had a dark background. Okay, like I said, I'm going to get rid of the feet because I'm going to drop him in right here behind these flowers. So I don't need those feet at all. In fact, I'm going to just mask away to see where I'm at, and then I'll bring him back. All right, get rid of the foot and this foot. And there's some stray background down here. Get rid of all that. I can see from my little mask area here where I have some white and I don't want it. I've got a little white in that upper corner. I'll get to that in a minute. But right now I want to bring him back behind the flower, right up against it, like so, as if he is sitting in there. Showing a little bit of his foot, which actually is okay because I'm going to mask away, raise this up just a little, mask away this and this, just to give a hint of it showing like he's sitting in the flowers there. Mask away this little hard edge I got. So now he is in there behind the flowers. I have a large area somewhere up in here. There, got rid of it. I'm going to bring back the beak a little bit more because I messed that up, and come back in around the edges a little more carefully. There we go. Now, other than denoise, I haven't done any other color adjustments on this bird, and I'm thinking of what adjustments I might want to make. I'm thinking I might want to make him just a tad bit larger, which is going to require more masking in here. Just a little bit. I'm going to lower the flow at this point, which is like opacity, and just kind of gently tap to bring the floral and the background right over into the bird. And like I said, I can bring him back. Like here's a petal right here I want in front of him. And now I'm going to mask away, bring his feathers back right here around that petal. And right here. Bring that foot back just a little bit. And this is just a back and forth until I get it looking the way I want. Bring that petal back a little stronger right there. And this is a leaf. I'm going to bring that back and then go around the edge and bring his feathers back down. Now, I'm going to lower the flow a little bit, raise the brush size, and just go gently, whoops, wrong direction. Go gently around his head to tap and bring the background right into him. It gets rid of that harsh line and brings the colors of the background right into the bird. Lost too much of that little wing right here, which I want to keep, so I'm bringing that back. Okay, so he's masked in there pretty good. Looks like he's a part of the background. He needs a little clarity boost to show some definition between his feathers a little more, so I'm going to use Topaz Clarity. Click Fur and Feathers. I like that. I'm going to click OK, which you can't see because it's off the bottom of the screen. But that's what I clicked. And that boosted him a little bit. Now I'm going to do something to make him look a little more painterly. You could stop right here and call it a day if you wanted to. But because I shot these photos with a very high ISO, even though I've denoised him, he's still got quite a bit of noise in here. So I'm going to try to smooth that out using a Topaz Impression preset. First thing I'm going to do is duplicate the layer I've just masked and shut off the bottom layer. So the bottom layer is my original one in case I want to go back to it. I'm using Topaz Impression on a duplicate layer. There is a preset, an oil glaze preset in the painting section that I have adjusted and resaved to have a lesser effect. I've called it Oil Glaze Light. I have two of them, Oil Glaze Light in Oil Glaze Light 2. Oil Glaze Light, that particular preset I made, darkens things and boosts color a little bit. Oil Glaze Light 2 keeps the colors the same, it just kind of smooths everything out. I'll zoom in here. This is after the Oil Glaze Light 2, and this is before. You see the noise and how it's just gone now? And softens him up a little bit. That's why I like this preset, to make him smooth out a little, look a little bit more painterly. There, that looks a little better. However, I might want to boost the detail fix the masking a little bit and boost the detail in his eye. So we're going to bring him in close, and I'm going to mask away. I'm going to bring back some of him. If I get the brush size right here. I'm going to go around the edges a little bit more. Just kind of fine-tuning things. There's a little area by the beak, which is real dark right there. Alright, that's pretty good. Now I'm going to go to this brushes. Here we have 3 choices: burn and dodge, saturation, and smooth detail. So I'm clicking on smooth detail, and the strength is in the middle. If I move it all the way over here, it'll smooth things. If I move it to the right, it's going to just boost the detail a little. I'm going to put the flow all the way up, the brush down to a small brush. I'm just going to get in here around this eye on this layer and the beak, which is going to boost that detail in those areas just a little bit more and make him have a little more sparkle to his eye and sharpness to his beak. There, without reintroducing a bunch of noise. Now his eye just really sparkles nicely. Now I could stop right here if I wanted to, but I don't want to. What I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to move the bottom layer down. I don't need that anymore. That's my original mask layer. I'm happy with the impression layer. So I'm going to leave that alone and merge everything. I'm going to show you a couple little things here. Okay, he's merged. Now I'm going to duplicate that, because anytime I do adjustments, I want to duplicate. In case I don't like them, I can quickly just delete that layer. Alright, I want to boost the clarity of him a little bit. Although that filter got rid of the noise and made him a little softer, he doesn't have as much clarity as I'd like. So I'm going to run a clarity filter on the whole merged image. And once again, I'm going to choose Fur and Feathers. Now see how that boosted him? If that would close out. There. This is before, this is after. It boosted everything else too. But we're going to get rid of that. I'm going to click OK and accept this adjustment for the whole image. Okay. Now I like what it's done to this flower and these flowers and the bird. I don't like what it's done up here because I like the softness that had, like that, in the original image. And I don't want this to be boosted. So what I'm going to do to get rid of everything on this layer quickly is do invert. Invert puts a mask over the entire layer. Then I'm going to move my brush value all the way over here, which is going to bring things back. Put the flow somewhere in the middle and bring the brush size up. And I'm just going to gently brush over the bird area, which is going to bring back the clarity adjustment on him. Like so. You can see my little mask in the shape of the bird. I'm going to extend out to these flowers because I want them to be a little sharper, and these leaves right here. And I'm even going to extend out over the branch and this area right here around this flower. Now you can see my little mask. These are the areas that I want to be the focus. So that's why I wanted the clarity adjusted up on those areas. Now I turn it off and you can see the difference. That this is before, this is after. See how it just pumped him up a little bit? In fact, I may want to bring that flow up and pump him up all the way as high as I can get him, because he is my focal point. Now he is solid white. I'm going to lower this and get in around this beak just a little bit, like so. So he is solid white over here, so he has full clarity. The flowers have some boosted clarity here, and the rest of this is staying soft. There. Before, after. I like that. Now I'm going to go from stack and merge the whole image again. This is what is going to be my final image right here, I think, unless I play with it some more. At this point, you could go further, duplicate it, make further adjustments, and you could even go back to Topaz Impression if you have this program or any painter program and paint, use a painting preset to do a painting of the whole image as a whole, including the flowers. Like that's before and that's after. There's a dreamy look, before, after. So you could do that on the whole image after you've merged everything. I like him the way he is, pretty much. But I wanted to show you a little trick in this video, something I haven't gone over before in any of the other videos. If you'll notice, blow him up good, that this background has quite a bit of texture with the canvas. The bird doesn't have any of that on the bird. That is a little difference. It's not a big deal, but you can fix that, and I'm going to show you how. You can actually take some of this texture and put it over the bird, and I'm going to show you a quick way to do that. Let me get it to fit the screen here. There we go. Okay, I've already duplicated it. So on this, I'm going to duplicate it again. Okay, this is a duplicate layer. I'm going to pull down the saturation a little bit. I mean the opacity. And I'm going to move. And I like this part of the canvas up here. I would like to put some of that over him. I'm going to raise up the size of it just a little bit to fit over him. Okay, now see how that's over him? Of course, it's faded. We're going to have to change layer modes. Let's go put the opacity back up. This is the canvas that's going to be over him with the brush strokes. Let's go to soft light. There. Now that's great, except for it's changed my color tones. I don't want that. So on that soft light layer, pull the saturation all the way down, which keeps the color tones the same. But now he has canvas showing over him. But he has canvas showing, this all extra stuff out here. You don't need that. Once again, invert. Takes it all away. You've got your masking brush over this way. You can bring it back. And I'm going to bring it back on just the bird. And I'm going to bring it back at full opacity. See how it's putting that canvas texture right over him? And this is the canvas texture from another place on the image. See the difference? Smooth canvas. Make that brush a little bigger so I can get this done quicker. There. Now, that may be a little too much canvas texture on him. So you can lower the opacity of that layer if it's too much. And I like around 64% looks good, but I don't want it on the eye. So I'm going to go back the other direction. I'm going to lower the flow because I like a little bit on the eye, but just not as much. And I'm going to take some of that canvas off the eye and off the beak, just a little bit. But yet it remains in places, and any place you don't like it, you can take it back off. or soften it. Bring the flow down. You could do a big brush and just kind of tap and soften all of it. Now, all right, this is before. You see how smooth he is compared to the background. Now that we've added some canvas over him, he now looks like he's a part of the whole picture as a whole. So that is one way to bring some of this heavy texture into your subject, by duplicating, lowering saturation all the way down, changing to soft light mode, positioning it over your subject, inverting the mask, and then putting it back in using your masking the opposite direction. It just puts it where you want it. So it's just over the bird. This is before, this is after, and you can see he's changed just a little bit. So I just wanted to show you that little trick. And then you would merge right here, which is what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to show you something else. I'm going to bring the original bird up, and I'm going to bring the original background up, if I can find it. There it is. Okay. Bird, background. Bird is masked. That's the background I chose to start with because I thought it would look best with this bird. Let's say this background doesn't look good with him. Let's say I want to choose another one. I can go to the file where they're all stored, all 26 colors, and I can easily bring in one of these other colors that I think may work better. Let's try this one. Now see, it changed everything but left the bird alone because he's on his own layer. But I don't particularly like that color. I like the first one. I think it went better with him. Let's see if, so let me delete that one. Let's see if there's another one that may work. Here's one that has a little more blue in it. That one looks pretty good. Maybe a little too blue. There was another one that had a little darker green. Maybe it was this one. Yes, that one has a little bit of a darker green tone. So this one is bright and this one is darker. I'd already done Goldfinch with the bright green tones and I liked it. But I like that one too. Maybe I should try a mix between the two. I have this one on top of the other one, so let's just lower the opacity and kind of play back and forth and maybe do a mixture. That's before, that's after. That's at 61%. Kind of like that too. So I could have done that from the beginning if I did not like the color tone of my original background. I did like the color tone and the way it all worked, and since I've already added the texture to the bird, I'm going to leave it alone. But I just wanted to show you a little short video on how to use this new collection. Like I said, it's available in 26 colors, and you could turn it all different ways, and you can put, I would put subjects such as birds, butterflies. Use this as a full background for, like, behind a portrait of a kitten, a bunny rabbit, a puppy dog, small things. Even a person if you wanted to, but with the person, it's going to look, the flower, you got to keep in mind the size of the flowers compared with the size of your subject. Because these are relatively small, you probably want to work with some smaller subjects with this one. You could work this in to some of the other backgrounds if you wanted to add flowers in and then mask away the parts you don't want, leaving just the branch. There's all kinds of creative things you can do with it, but I just wanted to demonstrate how you drop a bird in here and you hide the feet. You can just tuck him in wherever you want to, or you can place a flying bird or butterfly coming in from any direction. I hope you guys will enjoy this as much as you've enjoyed the Wildlife Masterpieces, the ground level ones I've done for the larger animals. But I wanted to do something for the small for the birds, especially my songbirds, because I have so many photographs of these birds on the same branch in the same location. They're in different poses and different lighting, but they get boring after a while looking at the same thing. And the fact is, people don't like to buy boring. They like to buy something that's more interesting. And so that's why I'm doing these. I've got several planned in this Wildlife Masterpieces series, several of these for the birds with different flowers and fruits and things like that. And I also have several more ground level ones planned for the larger animals. So you can work your wildlife and your pets, and even people in with these backgrounds. I even saw yesterday somebody posted a barn that they had worked into one of the first Wildlife Masterpieces grass collections. They had worked a barn in behind the grass, a barn scene, and that was really neat. That's the first time I've seen somebody do that. So they're fairly versatile. Just let your creativity run wild and see what you can do. And I hope you enjoy this new collection. Thanks for watching and have a great day.